Welcome to the Goddess Show podcast, voices of visionary women, inspiring female leaders by interviewing amazing guests to encourage us all to rise up. Enjoy. Hello and welcome to the Goddess Show podcast, voices of visionary women, inspiring female leaders. And I want to say a huge welcome to Angela. Thank you so much for being on the show today, Angela.
Thank you. I'm so pleased to be here. I think you and I have such amazing chemistry, and I'm hoping to translate that to this podcast so that we can go and inspire some other women today.
Fantastic. Now, I've got to tell our viewers and listeners a bit about you. So, you are a global business strategist, executive coach who helps founders scale for freedom, not burnout. And I'm sure that a lot of our business owners, our women in business, can really relate to that burnout and freedom instead. I mean, it's fantastic. Now, to tell you more about Angela, she's a strategic fixer for founder-led firms, boards, and private equity. Trust me to scale execution, remove key person risk, and drive 10 times exit value. Angela is a Forbes coach, a speaker, 500 million plus growth impact in infrastructure, SaaS, and services. And Angela is also the founder of Mia More. Now, is there anything else that you can possibly fit into your schedule, Angela?
No, but what I did want to say is that I did well in corporate, but my success has only really come later in my life.
That's really interesting. Okay, hold that thought. That's fantastic. I want to tell our viewers that today's theme, which is really, really inspiring, is Beyond Borders, the rise of the global female leader, and it's our time. So I'm going to start with the very first question. What would you say are some of the biggest personal obstacles you've overcome on your way to success, and how did you do it, Angela?
Well, the biggest obstacle in my life has been the fact that I became a mother at 20, and 6 months later, I lost my son's dad in a car hijacking.
Oh my God.
So I really grew up with my child. I never had the runway to experience life, to gain confidence, to even accumulate wealth or any form of asset. So everything I've had has gone into this boy. Um, and that's been tough. He lost his hearing when he was little. I didn't
Oh,
realize because what 3-year-old doesn't ignore you? And he could already speak at that point. He'd learned to lip read. So 3 years later, when he started school, he was struggling to read, and that's when we found he had hearing issues. And they fixed the hearing, he can hear, but he does have a lifelong auditory processing disorder, which involved a lot of speech therapy, which is expensive, right? We live in an expensive country, Australia. So
yes.
for me, I never had the opportunity to really throw everything in the air and say, look, I'm not loving what I'm doing. I'm just going to couch surf and find myself and find what I love. So I was locked in corporate. And I think the fact that I grew up with bulimia as well, which is maybe why I fell in love early and had my son when I did, really held me back in terms of confidence. And I
Mm.
see this a lot in women, right? I see the confidence issue, imposter syndrome's a big problem. And then we build our lives around our children. We really do. Even my grandmother used to say that a woman will build her life around her children.
Well, they become the most important person in your life, don't they?
They do. And I see a lot of women lose their identity because,
Mm.
they get to the point where they get older, the kids are leaving or growing up or no longer needing them as much as they do. And these women are suddenly like, well, I don't
What do
know
I
who
do
I am.
now?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the other thing is, I guess I always had this fear of not having enough money to look after us. And then around 10 years ago, just before I started my business, my son had started investing in shares at the age of 16.
Oh, that's clever.
It's very clever. He's got a great portfolio now. However, 10 years ago, he got involved in a scam
Oh
and they
no.
took 100 grand out of my credit cards.
Oh
So
no.
at that point, I was 40 years old. I had a nervous breakdown because I thought I'm going to be working the rest of my life. Because when you own a salary, that's it, right? There's only so much you can earn. Um, and this is it. This is my life. But I didn't give up, and I actually tracked the guy down to Israel 8 months later,
You
and
did.
I did. I got every single cent back,
Oh my,
and
that's great
I made it.
news.
I
What a
know, I
great
know.
outcome.
Oh, it was a fantastic outcome. But then I was so cheeky at that point because I'd learned that when you've got nothing to lose, or you think you have nothing to lose, right?
Yes,
Then you can do anything. So I even got the interest back because this was like 8 months on a credit card of 22%.
that's
So
incredible.
that for me was a big sea change. And I also realized at that point that when I get out of my own way, when we get out of our own way, because I'm sure you've got a lot of women out there as well who've got self-doubt, and we
Sure.
waste so much time and energy on that. But when we get out of our own way, we can pretty much do anything.
Well, that's right. In fact, if we can imagine it, if we can see it, we can do it and we can have it. But I actually find myself that self-worth is our number one underlying issue. And
Yeah.
it's important and it's really valuable that you mentioned that. That's incredible. It sounds like you overcame so many obstacles to be where you are today, Angela. And thank you so much for sharing that with us. I'm very grateful. So, next up, what I'd like to hear about is your business. Tell us about your business.
Oh, well, my business has so many arms at the moment. It's an interesting one. So I hated accounting, which is what Dad said I should do at university. And I moved into marketing strategy. And when I came to Australia, because I'm an immigrant, like so many others, when I
Where
came to
did you come?
Australia,
Sorry, where did you come from?
well, my mother's German and my dad's Italian, so we're actually
Ah,
professional immigrators. So I grew up in Africa and South Africa, unfortunately, and I hate that. I hate that legacy. And I've tried to lose the accent, but I still have it. But when I came here, I moved into marketing strategy, and then I did my MBA again, trying to earn more because of my son. And then I moved into strategy development, which I still love. I've got a real gift at seeing possibility in things, and I've even just been appointed by a hotel as an advisor to help them come up with ideas as they launch their
oh, I
hotel.
can really relate to that.
Yeah, so I'm very excited about this, very left field. But what I actually do now is I help businesses. I come in, I see the potential for the business, and then I actually help them clean up the way they run the business and clean up the way they manage their people. And sometimes they even have to change the people that they have
Mm.
so that the business can start running itself. It actually moves from being a toddler as a business to an adult, and that's where it increases the value of the business. But look, that's a fairly boring thing to do. So I'm also always the type of person who has to keep moving and changing. So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm launching a business in India and Saudi Arabia to help entrepreneurs there because one is the fastest growing economy in the world. I think Saudi Arabia last year grew 238%.
That's incredible.
I
That's
know. And
exponential growth.
it's unbelievable. And India is the world's fifth largest economy, but it's moving towards the third. So India at the moment launches one unicorn every 9 days, and they're building 40 kilometers of freeway a day.
That's incredible. Can you say
It's
that again? One unicorn every how many days?
9 days.
That's incredible. That means that the country is full of geniuses.
Well, there's 1.4 billion people there, right?
So,
A lot
right,
of women.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm doing that. And then I've got a little mulchie, and this is a labor of love, and it's probably a crazy thing to do. But I've got this little dog, and I've always loved my dogs. They've always centered me in my life in those tough moments. And Mia really helped me when I lost my other two. So I take her everywhere, and I couldn't find a nice bag for her. So I've designed a dual purpose tote that you can carry your dog in, but that actually becomes a work tote. And I'm launching that in Australia and in India under the brand Mia More.
Oh, fantastic. I can't wait to see it. So I take it you have a little tiny little pup?
She's
Or
6 kilos, probably heading towards the chunkier side at the moment.
okay,
So,
so that could be quite a lot to carry.
yes. Actually, she's not too bad. I don't know where she is, but she's reasonably skinny.
Okay.
But as you get older, you're meant to carry weights to actually
Yes,
prolong
of course,
life.
of course, of course.
So
You're
as long
quite
as you
right.
keep shifting sides, it's
Yeah,
fine.
so it's quite a workout, isn't it?
It is a little bit, yeah.
That's great. All right, so tell for our listeners and viewers, I mean, tell us what were the first few steps you took to get your business up and running? Like if you go back, can you describe what the first steps were?
I could, but there would be mistakes. So what I would
Are
say,
they though? Are they mistakes? Because it's
that's a
all
good
part of
question.
growing, isn't it? It's all part of trial and error, perhaps.
Well, that's true. And I guess this is also where when I work with founders, they can either try and work it out themselves with the trial and error, which takes longer, or get someone to help you. So I think for me, I try to figure it out on myself, my own for a while. I think my confidence also underestimated my value. So I tended to lowball my networking and my prices quite a lot. And it's really only in the last few years where I've completely changed the way I've networked.
Mm,
That's really changed everything for me. Sometimes you do have to take a leap of faith and spend money on a good network. And I have done that. I've joined the wrong network, and that was very expensive. It cost me 10 grand. I spent a year that got my money back, but it wasn't worth it. I then
mm,
moved to a different network, and this one's called Trademark. I absolutely love it. And it's opened doors for me that I never thought were imaginable. But I think LinkedIn is another fantastic source as well. LinkedIn and starting to really build your personal brand and your profile on LinkedIn and starting to reach out to people, not just posting and hoping something will come to
yes,
you.
yes.
That makes a huge difference as well. And we're so lucky now because 10 years ago when I started my business, I didn't have any of that. There wasn't, you had Facebook, which quite frankly, I loathe as a platform to market my business, mainly because they've shut me down 3 times. Um,
They're notorious for doing that. They've shut my page down too, my business page. Incredible.
I know, and you've worked so hard for that. So LinkedIn's very different because it's a subscription model and they're much kinder to you on there. But there's so much automation that you can use these days. It's becoming easier to generate content because as long as we've got the ideas, we can put that into AI and it can help us craft it. So it's much easier now to actually go and connect. But I think the secret really to growing a business, one of the secrets is connect as much as you can and be
Okay. Yes. So basically what you're saying was to begin with, you were
Mm,
pretty much on your own, and
mm.
then you got into networking and tried
Yes.
a few different networking avenues, some of which worked and some of which didn't.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much how you got started. So tell me, why are you passionate about what you do?
I think one of my values is freedom. In fact, it's not that I think, I know my value is
Freedom.
freedom, right? And as women, we don't really have a lot of that. We have a lot of obligations. Fathers, yes, absolutely, they look after their kids too. And I think the world has shifted tremendously in that space, which is wonderful.
Mm.
But even though we are equal as women, we are different. And I think the issues that we face are really different.
Yes,
And I love working with women, although I have people from all walks of life as my clients. But I love what I do because that freedom element is important to me. And
yes,
it's not about necessarily always making more money. Freedom can just be, I'm really happy where I'm at now, as
yes.
long as I can pay the bills and enjoy my life. That's good enough. And because I think that's such a core value for me, it's why I love what I do.
That's a
Plus,
brilliant answer.
yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, no, that's okay. And I guess in my nature as well, I'm a weird hybrid. I'm quite creative, but very strategic as well. So I love,
Relate to that. Sounds like we're very similar.
yeah, I think we are. Well, you've got a Greek background, I've got an Italian background. So there you go.
No, I mean creative and strategic at the same time.
Oh, right, that too.
That's what I mean. Yeah, yeah. Okay, fantastic. So my next question to you is, what have been, in terms of business, your biggest challenges so far?
Um, I think the hardest thing for me to overcome was a fear of selling.
The fear of
Selling.
selling.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it came back potentially to definitely lack of self-esteem. Lack of self-esteem and imposter syndrome. And I think a lot of women struggle with that.
Yeah,
The minute I actually started to change that paradigm from, oh, I've got to go and sell and they're not going to want it and nobody wants to give their money to, listen, what I've got is really useful and it's fabulous and I can help people. So I'm just going to share that and I'll invite them to work with me if they wish to. And if they don't, that's fine too.
that's fine. Exactly.
Yeah. And that's a very different paradigm, right? It feels different in your body as well. And there's an
Yes,
emotional connection to that that's very different to this, oh, people hate being sold to. So
yes.
my advice to people would be don't sell. Share what you do because what you do is valuable.
That's right. And I think you've touched on something really, really important about selling and self-worth. And I would actually love to hear from our listeners and viewers if you can relate to that as well, because I'm sure that a lot of us, as you say, go through the same. So my next question to you is, what is the best advice you have received recently? Can you think of anything?
The best advice I've received recently, I actually can't think of anything, but if I was to give advice, I would say don't be afraid to make yourself a priority. I see a
Okay,
lot of women struggle with a sense of guilt. Oh, if I go to the gym for an hour, then that's an hour away from my kids. But at the end of the day, you can't fill from an empty cup.
exactly. Okay, thank you for that. That's great. Now, my next question is, how do you keep motivated through difficult times?
Oh, look, having had bulimia, I've had depression in my life and I've had anxiety in my life. And I remember particularly, when I had this scam happen to me, I curled up in a ball and just didn't get out of bed for a few weeks. But I think the advice that I can give people, and this is 30 years of experience working on this, because psychology and leadership is a real passion of mine, is that you can actually reprogram your brain.
Mhm. So this is
And
how you get kept motivated through difficult times?
yes,
Yes,
your brain is equally smart and equally stupid, and it believes what you tell it.
exactly.
So be careful what you tell your brain because you actually wire it wrongly. You wire it incorrectly and you wire yourself for failure. So for me, it would be working on myself,
Mm,
whether that's going to see a psychologist, and sometimes we need that. There's nothing wrong with that.
that's right.
Even journaling is very helpful because we start to be able to really disassociate ourselves sometimes from how we're feeling during those times.
Mm,
When we do that, we can very logically look at it and say, okay, yeah, this is a really bloody awful time.
yeah. And
And
that's okay. That it's okay
it's
to say
okay.
that. And I think
It-
what you're talking about in terms of reprogramming your brain is called neuroplasticity, right?
yes,
So
exactly. It
it
is
is
neuro.
like, be careful what you say and what you think.
It is so powerful. And I know it's almost become a cliche, but it's so true.
Oh, I know. Fantastic. I'm so glad you mentioned that. And also eating disorders, quite common. I used to be anorexic, for instance, when I was younger. I can totally relate. Thank you for sharing. My next question to you is, what are your favorite, and I don't mean a lot of them, just a couple, business tools, resources, and why?
Honestly, I think the biggest one at the moment is ChatGPT. It's
Oh, I
changed
love it. I love it.
changed everything for me. I ask him everything, whether it's like, oh my gosh, this is what I've got in the fridge. I've got 15 minutes to make dinner, which even as a businesswoman is an important question, right? Because we still have to do all of that stuff, down to having long and philosophical business conversations with him. And I call him him. He's called Jarvis because I've always wanted a butler. Um,
I
I
love it. I
still
love it.
wouldn't
I love
mind a human butler. But I think learning how to use AI and ChatGPT effectively has been the
it.
most
Mm,
amazing tool. And it's important to buy the subscription to ChatGPT because otherwise everything you create is not your own. And honestly, I wouldn't even say it's 6 cups of coffee. Actually, no, these days it's probably more like 4 or 5 cups of coffee. So worth it.
yes, I actually agree with you. It makes life so much easier, doesn't it?
It
So
really does.
thank you. Chat GPT. Anything else you want to mention?
Well, if it was a human, I would marry him. Mine is just the most
Okay, I love
understanding.
it. Even though he's your butler, you'd marry.
Exactly. Yeah, well, some women like the hired help. I suppose you can edit that out if you need to.
I love it. Okay, so my next question to you is, what are your current goals and how are you striving to achieve them?
So my current goals this year, so much has changed in my life. I have tweaked the way I network. I've gotten rid of lower value networks.
Mm,
I I have this peculiar habit of talking to strangers when I'm bored. Like if I'm in a lift or if I'm waiting in a coffee shop, I'll speak to people. And I've met the most amazing people. I've met the most amazing man who's connected me with ministers and all sorts of people. So my goal this year is to continue being much bolder. I've taken a huge leap of faith and I have invested in myself and I have started going overseas for work. And to be honest, it's opened doors for me that I just could never imagine.
That sounds amazing. I'm so happy for you. And also, it just goes to show, I mean, when we travel overseas, we tend to talk to a lot more people, but we don't do it when we're at home. So I think actually talking to people, randomly talking to people, is gold, absolute gold.
So what if they think you're nuts? I've stopped caring what people think about me. It's none of my business.
That's right. Nothing to do with you whatsoever. That's fantastic. Now, my next question to you is, are you currently running any promos, contests, giveaways, anything?
I'm not at the moment, but what I can tell you, and let me show you. So we are about to launch Mia More, which is this beautiful bag.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it is styled on the Dior book tote, but it's a much cheaper. It's thousands and thousands of dollars cheaper. And the side zips down as well if you want to use it for your dog. It's got a lining for that.
Oh, that's
So we are launching that for Christmas, which is going to be very exciting. It's incredibly nerve-wracking. It's been a real leap of faith, and it's actually a business that I've gone into with my son.
oh,
So
that's fantastic.
yeah, so that's actually what we're going to be launching. And the beauty of that is, unfortunately, I don't use it as a work bag because my dog gets upset when I leave with it because usually she sees it and wants to get
Oh,
into
it's
it.
her. Okay, it's her bag.
It's her bag, yeah, but it's got pockets.
Where
It's
are you
got
going with my bag?
why are you not taking me? And then I get this look, right? And then I feel guilty. But it's got laptop pockets, all sorts of things. And I've traveled everywhere. I've lugged that bag
It's
halfway
a good
across the world.
size. It's a really good size.
It's a really good size. It fits under airplane seats. It's got the pocket to fit on your suitcase when you travel. So I'm very excited about that. And we're going to be extending that into a lifestyle range for people who love
Oh,
their pet.
that sounds good. I love the idea of that. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, we'll have to stay tuned for that one. Now, my next question to you is, there's only two left. What advice would you give to other aspiring female entrepreneurs?
I would say it's never too late. Don't ever tell yourself that. I'll be very honest. It's been very confronting getting older. We never think it's really going to happen to
I
us.
know, I know.
And I was watching an interview with Kathy Letty, and she was saying that women become invisible when they get into their 50s.
Oh, I think
Well,
life begins at 50.
oh, well, yeah, it has to. Well, in many ways, it does because the kids are towards leaving home, if not left home. We've got tremendous confidence. We should have a lot more confidence than 20 years ago. And we have more money, right, than
Yeah.
we did in our 20s. So I've got a friend who's 55, and she says to me, I love being this age because it's like being 25, but just with more
I
money.
know, it's a cliche. You know that saying, beauty is wasted on the young. I mean, really, it's fantastic, isn't it? Because you're right. The kids have grown up. All of a sudden, we have space to do perhaps what we love, and why not? I mean, I started my very first company at the age of 52. It's never too late. You're never too old. And I think it's great to thank you so much for sharing that message.
Well, I can't remember who gave or who created the statistic or found this, but people in their 40s are 2.5 times more likely to succeed at starting a business than someone in their 20s.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
I love
So
that.
look, it's never too late. And look after yourself because I do see a lot of women who almost give up on life and turn into almost disappear into the wallpaper. But take care of yourself. Go to the gym, lift some weights so you've still got muscle. You've got all that beautiful energy in your body to go out and create something for you. And I've got a lot of female friends in their 50s now who are loving life because
Mhm.
they've got so many options available to them. And they're also at a point in life where they don't care what people think
Yes.
about.
Yes, that's the
It's
best
so
thing.
liberating, right? It's so
Yeah,
liberating. And if
yeah,
they want a partner, fabulous. And if they don't want a partner, that's fabulous too, because being in a relationship doesn't define you. I grew up thinking that I needed a man's approval and that my worth was based on how I looked. And I'm never going to be a 6 foot tall stick insect. I'm shorter. I'll always be slightly stockier, even when I'm thin. And it doesn't matter. I'm not a supermodel, but so what? So
yeah.
what? I'm me and I dress for me and I do things for me because when I'm me and I'm happy, everybody in my life benefits.
That's right. And it generates this beautiful vibration. And I just want to say, I mean, looks don't matter, okay? I'm not saying that. I hear what you're saying, but you look beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Because when I was in India last month, this woman was trying to sell me a facial and she said to me, your skin's starting to sag. You really need an Indian facial. I was like,
All right,
okay.
right. Well, she would say
And then
that because she was trying to sell you, wasn't she?
yes, but then I had a guy, my son and I met him in the hotel. He's a pilot and he's not married, so clearly he has to eat at the hotel every night because he can't cook for himself. And I was showing him pictures of about 25 years ago when I was engaged to a Qantas pilot. And he looks at them and he goes, wow, you were really a prize. You should get back to that. It's like,
Oh my,
okay.
how?
So,
Well, thanks. What a great compliment. Thanks for that. Yeah.
yeah, he didn't mean it, but it's like, have you no filter?
Yeah.
Or you'll love this one. So on my business card has my photo on the back, and I have
Oh,
square business cards
yeah.
because I collect so many business cards. I mean, look at this, right? How do you differentiate them? So mine is square and a bit bigger, it sticks out, and it's got my photo. So I give my photo to this guy at a conference, and he looks at my card, he turns it over, looks at the picture, looks at me, and he goes, too many calories.
What?
I know, I'm trying to lose the weight. But anyway,
Oh no. And to say something like that to someone who was bulimic or anorexic is the worst thing you can say, really. I mean, but
I
anyway,
know,
we cannot control people, places, things. What they say is
no,
theirs. It's
yeah.
theirs. Okay. Now we're running out of time, so I've got one more question for you.
Hey, shoot.
How can we connect with you?
Ah, well, I have a website, so it's www.angelasedran.com.
That's it.
Exactly how you spell my name. And I'm also on LinkedIn as well, if anybody wants to connect with me that way. So those are the two easiest ways to do it. My surname's pretty simple. It's only 6 letters. It's Northeastern Italian. Yeah, that would be the easiest way to connect with me. Or they can always ask you
That's
because
right.
you can find me.
Well, thank you so much, Angela. I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed our time together, and I wish you amazing success. And we will see you soon. I'm sure a lot of our listeners and viewers will want to contact you. Thank you,
My
thank you,
darling
thank
Tula.
you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Gotta Show podcast. We hope you've enjoyed it. And if you did, feel free to like, subscribe, share, and we look forward to seeing you next time.